It has come to our attention that several of the abandoned state schools and asylums that we have previously covered on this very show are set to be demolished. Places like Seaside Sanatorium in Connecticut, one of my personal favorites, and even the infamous Laconia State School out of New Hampshire. One thing is for certain, these locations are not long for this world. And to be honest, that actually depresses me a little bit. That bums me out. I'd like to see them restored. I don't want to see them lost to the annals of time. In my opinion, if they remained and they functioned as a shrine to some of their victims, I think that's what we should be going for here. But either way, we are going to go out this weekend. We're going to record and document as much as we possibly can before we can't. These places were horrible, at least at times, to their patients. But it's sad to see history forgotten, rather than the victims honored. Perhaps these structures should stand as monuments to their victims, and not face the fate of complete demolition. Seaside Sanatorium opened in 1919 as the only treatment center for tuberculosis in the country. At that time, tuberculosis killed 252 out of every 100,000 people living in Connecticut, making it the leading cause of death in state. Since the hospital built in Niantic was too small to accommodate the need for treatment, and the neighboring property refused to sell its land to allow for expansion, in 1930, the State Tuberculosis Commission commissioned a new hospital to be built in Waterford instead, and the patients were transferred to the new campus 4 years later. They treated tuberculosis in children with heliotherapy, which centered around the idea that the disease could be treated through fresh air and sunlight. Hey, it's starting to feel kind of uncomfortable down here. Oh shit. There's some noises, man. Here, let's go towards them. Let's go. By the 1940s, medical advancements made this treatment obsolete, eventually leading to the tuberculosis program's end in 1958. The patients were transferred to Thames Hospital, and the buildings were converted into a home for the elderly called Seaside Geriatric Hospital. 3 years later, it was converted again, this time to a home for people with developmental disabilities. By the 1970s, there were reports of patient mistreatment and an abnormally high death rate. This reputation worsened by the 1990s, eventually leading to the property being closed in 1996. Patients were transferred to state-owned properties in local communities. In 2014, the governor made the decision to turn the property into a public park. However, 4 years earlier, he had contracted a developer to work on the campus and did not include him in this decision. The developer filed and won a $20 million lawsuit after the announcement. Though it has been 2 years since state officials announced their plans to demolish the remaining buildings, it is not known if the property will be developed beyond a public park. Previous attempts to sell the property fell flat due to the expectation that it would cost millions of dollars to restore or redevelop the buildings. The state's current plan would spend $7.1 million on demolition and development. However, there is currently an open lawsuit attempting to save these buildings. Yo, I'm gonna check out this fucking... Hold on. No fucking way. Huh?
Security?
Ah, shit. Alright. Alright, lights off. As of October 2024, there are plans for demolishing the buildings still in place, and constructing the new park is slated to begin sometime in 2026. There is little hope these buildings can be preserved. It's up to a select few to carry on the stories and accounts from institutions like Seaside Sanatorium.